Alright, so welcome to the Office of International Education's Parents Webinar, Going Global with Georgia Tech. My name is Ashley Flynn, and I work in the Office of International Education, or OIE, as a Study Abroad Scholarships Advisor. Thank you for joining us today. This is a general presentation on the global opportunities open to Georgia Tech undergraduate students. If you have questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box at the right, and we'll answer your questions after the presentation portion of the webinar for about 15 minutes. So, So why should your student consider going abroad or going global during their tech career? Undergraduate students who study abroad on Georgia Tech programs earn academic credits towards their degree. Because they're taking courses that satisfy their degree requirements abroad, they're also getting an international perspective on their major and degree. Students also have the chance to study at other universities across the world that are just as rigorous as Georgia Tech. Of course, while students are traveling or studying abroad, they'll also have chances to travel and discover new places and cultures. Some study abroad opportunities have this option built in, while other programs have a regular break or holiday where students have the option to travel. As part of study, students will also continue to develop their hard skills during their academic skills, and then develop their soft skills like intercultural communication in the process of traveling and working within new and different cultures. Also, after having studied the trends for several years, it turns out that the graduation rate is 98% for tech students who participated in international experiences as an undergraduate, compared to the 85% graduation rate for tech students normally. So where does Georgia Tech go? Georgia Tech has about 120 different options for students to go and study abroad or do a global internship. The dots on the map highlight the areas that students currently have gone or studied or interned abroad while they were at Georgia Tech. So what does it take to be eligible to be able to go abroad and go global with Georgia Tech? Students must be at least 18 years old. We have some fantastic students who happen to be younger than 18 whenever they come to Georgia Tech. Unfortunately, they must wait until they are 18 years old in order to study abroad or go on a global internship with Tech. Students must be a full-time degree-seeking student at Tech. They will have had to have completed 2 semesters of college-level degree-seeking study. So that means that the first time that freshman students are eligible to study abroad is the summer of their freshman year. They must be in good academic and disciplinary standing. And it's important to note that some programs have GPA requirements. This is normally about a 3.0. And we encourage students who have maybe less than that to come and talk to us, as some programs offer flexibility and being able to accept students. There are a few basic study abroad components that we really want you and your student to understand. If you take nothing else away from this webinar, we want you to know that all undergraduates can earn academic credit towards their degree. This is considered GT in residence credit, and so the 36-hour rule doesn't apply. If you're not familiar with the 36-hour rule, it means that students who, once they're eligible to study abroad, are able to go abroad all the way through the second semester of their senior year, because the credit that they earn on a Georgia Tech program is considered in residence, so it's like they're taking credit here on the Atlanta campus. Students are able to study abroad during the fall, spring, summer, or an academic year. Students are able to study abroad with Tech students and faculty while studying abroad, or they could go to a partner institution. Also, students, whenever they study abroad, pay the in-state tuition rate. The out-of-state students are going to be, or will pay a $250 fee on most programs. The biggest exception to this is Georgia Tech Lorraine, where the fee is $3,500. We want students to continue studying language, but understand that even with a good grasp of language, that taking classes in a foreign language is intimidating. As such, the majority, or 76% of Tech's programs, are taught in English. So when looking at this map, the flags represent the different places where students can go and take their courses in English while studying abroad. Language skills do make students more competitive in applying for internships and, in some cases, scholarships, and we want to encourage students to continue studying their languages. However, if your student isn't quite ready for that, that's perfectly fine too, and there are other programs that are open to them where they can still go and have a great experience. There are two main options for going and studying abroad. There are exchanges and faculty-led study abroad options. Both of these are considered tech study abroad options, and they earn GT and residence credit when they're away. The first option is an exchange abroad. With an exchange, a student spends a fall, spring, or academic year abroad. They'll study at one of Tech's 80-plus partner institutions all across the world. They're able to take flexible coursework that satisfies major and elective credit requirements. While they're there, they're going to build their resume and gain skills that are necessary for them to compete in a global marketplace. And of course, they're going to get to travel some. The deadlines in general. If a student wants to study abroad during a spring semester, the deadline is September 1st. If a student wants to study abroad during the fall or academic year, that deadline is February the 15th. As you can see, planning ahead is pretty important because these deadlines fall right at the beginning of a semester. Students can also participate in faculty-led study abroad. A faculty-led study abroad option that you might be aware of is Georgia Tech Lorraine, the Oxford Summer Program, the Pacific Spring Study Abroad Program, the China Summer Program, and many, many more. With these programs, students are able to earn credits towards their Georgia Tech degree. They're going to gain a new perspective on their major. They're also going to travel and discover the world with other students and Georgia Tech faculty. And then they're also going to develop those skills that employers are looking for while exploring new cultures. Faculty-led programs are a little bit different than exchange programs in that their deadlines sometimes vary. In general, the deadline is going to be February the 15th each year to participate in a summer study abroad program. However, students and parents should definitely check the website as some programs have some variance in the application deadlines, and some programs also fill very quickly. Some examples are Georgia Tech Lorraine, the Pacific Spring Study Abroad Program, and also the Oxford Summer Study Abroad Program. Last year, OIE did a survey of the myths associated with study abroad, and the biggest myths surrounded financing study abroad. Most people simply thought that study abroad was too expensive for their student to study abroad. So we want to ensure parents and students that there are ways to make study abroad more affordable. Students pay the in-state tuition rate regardless of whether they're in-state or out-of-state. Out-of-state students will add a $250 program fee for most programs, the biggest exception, of course, being Georgia Tech Lorraine, where that fee is $3,500. Also, most scholarships are going to travel with students whenever they study abroad. So that's Hope, Zell Miller, and the Stamps President's Scholars Program. Also, when thinking about studying abroad, program choice is really going to impact the overall cost of a program. When thinking about this, think about the different locations. Japan is a little bit more expensive than China. So students seeking to study abroad in Japan will need to expect to pay a little bit more to live there as compared to a place like China. Also, summer programs are about 4 to 12 weeks in country, whereas semester-long or exchange programs are 16 to 23 weeks in country. So depending on a student's needs and how much time they want to spend in country, they need to think about which program option works best for them. Also thinking about whether a summer or a semester program is going to work best for them in regards to their academic, professional, and financial goals. So we've covered a lot of information so far. So I want to take a quick moment and kind of give you some resources on our website on where you can find some of this information. What we're showing you here is a GIF of going to a program page. It shows you the weeks that the program is, the language that it's taught in, the majors that are offered on a particular program, and also when the application deadlines are. If you scroll down that page, it's going to have a lot of information. If you're going on an exchange, it has the credit transfer rate, and it also shows the different budgets and how expensive things are going to be. Shifting gears just a little bit and thinking about how students can afford to study abroad, it's important to note that OIE administers scholarships. Students don't have to know which program they want to participate in to apply for scholarships as a freshman or as a sophomore, or junior, or a senior. Students can apply without knowing their program, and if they're awarded a scholarship, that scholarship will travel with them whenever they go, whether that's the next semester or 2 years from then. If OIE administers scholarships, they have 3 application cycles per year, held in October, January, and April. If you have a student who's applying to study abroad during the summer of 2017, unfortunately the awards for that semester have already been made. And it's important to note that when students apply for summer aid, regardless of the year, most of the OIE administered scholarships are given for summer during the October and January cycles. Georgia Tech also has many scholarships that are administered in different departments across campus. These are a couple examples of this are the Mundy Funds for Civil Engineers, the Campamore Scholarships for students sitting on LBATs or programs that are language, business, and technology, usually held in like South Korea, China, Japan, etc. There's also the Naramore and Chandler Scholarships for business students, and there are other scholarships on campus that we don't necessarily know of, but so students should continue to look within their departments for funding available for study abroad. There are also scholarships for students who want to study in a specific location. For example, there are location-specific scholarships for students wanting to study in China, Dubai, England, Germany, Japan, and Switzerland. The link at the bottom of this page takes you to our study abroad scholarship list. This is a great starting place for students to go and start looking for scholarships. It's not a comprehensive list, and we encourage students to look outside of that list. There are also national scholarship opportunities included on that link. Tech students are pretty fortunate in that outside of tech, there are relatively few STEM students who study abroad, so science, technology, engineering, and math. As a result, many national scholarships seek to help STEM students go abroad and have those international experiences. There are scholarships like the Critical Language Scholarship, the Gilman, and the Boren Scholarships that seek to help these students study abroad. Now that you've heard some of what's possible, I'm sure you're realizing that there's kind of a lot of information out there, and some of it can be cumbersome to look through. We have, like I said, we have about 120 different programs, and it can be hard to choose what's best for a student. Fortunately, there are some resources available to your student in the form of our website. So when going to our website, you can look through the different options available to you and filter that list based on the major or academic discipline, the country, level, language of instruction, etc. So we have another gift for you of going to our website and navigating to it. So if you just go to oie.godtech.edu/studyabroad, it'll bring you to this page where you can go and click on programs and find a program. Once you get to this page, you can filter this entire list by the academic discipline. Also, you can filter it by the country where students would study. You can also filter by the language of instruction, and also the level. So let's take a specific example now. Sorting this list based on a student wanting to study physics abroad. When you click on physics, this is going to automatically limit the list to just places where students can go and earn physics credits while studying abroad. As you can see, it's kind of long. In this GIF, we're going to choose a specific example in Argentina. In this GIF, we're going to actually compare the cost. So it's a lot of information to sort through. So you can select up to 5 different programs and scroll to the top and click on the Compare Costs button on the top right. And this is going to open up a side-by-side cost comparison for in-state and out-of-state students to see what the cost of studying abroad is. So it's important to see, I'm switching slides just because I don't want to make anyone sick with a GIF that goes on and on. But using the cost comparison tool can be great. It's important to note that the current tuition rate for Georgia Tech to study abroad here, to study here in Atlanta is $14,279. And so when looking at those in-state versus out-of-state costs, it's important to keep that in mind to see what the difference in price is between being here and then going abroad. Moving on to the Global Internship Program, we have a wealth of opportunities that are open just to students who want to go and do an internship abroad. These are competitive opportunities for students of all levels here at Georgia Tech, so whether that's an undergraduate student, international student, or graduate, postgraduate students, they can all do an internship abroad. Students are able to intern in industry, research, and nonprofit settings. Most of these positions are paid. Students can work during the summer, fall, and/or spring terms in an academic year. Language proficiency is recommended but not always required. For instance, we had 2 students in our office, excuse me, who interned for BMW. One student spoke German fluently and the other student did not, but they were still both able to work within BMW while studying abroad while interning abroad in Germany. Global internships can be combined with study abroad, and if planned early enough, they can even be combined with the co-op program. We encourage students to start this search early and start this planning process early, as it will take longer to incorporate this into a co-op program. So there are many opportunities open to students hoping to do a global internship, and we have staff here in the Office of International Education to advise on how to find a global internship. The staff also host regular information sessions on interning in Germany or cultivating a resume just for Japan, or just on finding a global internship. The GIP staff also produce a bi-monthly newsletter that goes out to students with information on currently available internships. This is an excellent tool to follow, as students can kind of see the calendar of when internships become available, and also there's information on how to apply. Students are also encouraged to find internships on their own, whether through connections that are academic or professional, or through families. Students who find internships outside of OIE's resources can register those internships with OIE, and that helps them to maintain full-time academic status while they're away. This is especially important for international students, as this helps them to maintain their visa status as full-time students whenever they're not on campus. There are also a number of other ways for students to go global during their career at Georgia Tech. Excuse me. They can do alternative spring break internationally. They can go to international conferences, do some non-GT study abroad, or participate in things like Engineers Without Borders. We encourage students to register this type of travel using the link below, so that when they're abroad, we know that they're abroad. We can provide them with travel insurance information, and also collect their emergency contact information in the event that something happens while they're away. Finally, Tech has the International Plan. I really like the International Plan because it takes everything that I've discussed so far and puts it on a student's transcript. This is a degree designation that shows that a student has made global awareness and experiential learning a part of their overall degree. The IP is similar to an honors program, where students can take courses for their major, with some courses having an added international perspective. The IP goes on a student's transcript and their diploma. Also, if a student completes all of the IP requirements, then they also get to wear a fantastic stole at graduation that's made out of the flag of the country where they spent the most time. So one of the students in our office got to wear a Chilean flag, a stole made out of a Chilean flag as part of her graduation, because she had finished the IP. The requirements for the IP are that a student will take 3 globally focused courses, and they'll also complete a senior capstone project. They're going to spend at least 26 weeks abroad, or 6 months abroad, and they're going to acquire proficiency in a foreign language while they're there. When they're doing all of that, they're going to be developing their intercultural skills and a global perspective of their major. There are also a number of resources available to students when thinking about studying abroad or doing an internship abroad. There are numerous information sessions held each semester on how to afford study abroad, how to find a global internship, and then program-specific information sessions. We have advisors in our office who are happy to meet with students and help them to kind of figure out their study abroad options and how it will fit with their overall academic career here at Georgia Tech. There are also resources on the website and regular announcements and interaction through social media. We also encourage you to keep in touch with us whenever you can. If you're by the office, come in and pop in and say hello to us. You can call us on the phone or, of course, connect with us on the website. So this wraps up kind of the program portion of the website. And now we're going to take some of the questions that have been coming in. Okay, so the first question is, I am looking at Lyon for next summer. I think this is the best Lyon summer study abroad program. And the student asks, when will the classes that are going to be offered there be finalized and published on the website? Generally, I think that these are posted on the website, like the general course offerings in the fall, and I think they're finalized in the spring. However, I would say it's important for you to contact the director of the Lyon program, and they can give you a much better idea on that. The contact information for the program director is going to be on the program page. It'll be an email to where you can contact them directly. The next question is, I have a son who will be going to Ireland this summer. Who is the liaison there if he has an emergency and needs help? That would be the program director, and the student should be receiving some information before they go abroad on who to contact, what the procedures are, and all of that. But their program director would be the best person to ask this and who will be in touch there. If there are no further questions or if there's anything that I can do, please let us know. It just looks like we have the 2 questions for now. If, however, you decide that you would like to ask a question and we didn't answer it in the webinar, I encourage you to email us at study.abroad@gautech.edu for more information. And we'll give it just a few minutes and see if anybody else asks a question. We need elevator music for this portion of the webinar. The next question is, my son is going to GT Lorraine in the fall. He has received hard copies of items, but are these anywhere that parents can look? I am honestly not sure about that, but I would also follow up with Kathy Bass, who's on the GTL program page. Her email is linked there to see if she can either send those or if those items are already available to you online. The next question is, do you know specifics about living there and there being GTL or Georgia Tech Lorraine? Do they have single rooms and do the rooms have refrigerators? I am honestly not sure about this. I know that we maintain that campus there in Metz, France. However, that's also a question to go ahead and follow up with Kathy Bass on where she can give you more specific information. Thank you. I would also say that when looking at these programs where students are going to Georgia Tech Lorraine or to Ireland or some of the other programs, we do have a number of students who have gone on those programs and come back, and many times either contacting the program director or contacting our office in general. We have students who have agreed to communicate with students, like prospective students who are about to go on programs, and we can share that contact information with the students. So just have your students reach out to us, and we can try to put them in touch with alumni students as well. The webinar went a little bit shorter than I thought it would, but we're going to go ahead and sign off for the moment being. But we encourage you to go ahead and submit any questions that you have to us at study.abroad@godtech.edu or that email there on the screen. We're also going to post this webinar on our resources page, and that link will come up in just a second. Actually, I'll shift to it now. So that if you have questions, you could possibly go back and watch part of the webinar and get resources that way, or you can just reach out to us directly. But thank you so much for coming and for listening to this webinar, and we look forward to working with your students in the future. Thank you.